Good morning, afternoon, or evening, y'all. My name is Shannon, and today we are going to be picking my March TBR from my TBR jar. As of right now, I don't know whether or not I'm going to be filming a February reading wrap-up, because as of today, which is the 25th, I've only read 5 books. I'm currently in the middle of another, and I'm hoping to finish maybe like 3 more books before the month is over, which I realize is very ambitious because it's essentially 3 in 3 days, but I'm optimistic. Anywho, let's just get started. I'm only going to be choosing 10 books for my TBR because if I do read more, I like to have a little wiggle room rather than just reading what's on my TBR for a single month, you know? So let's just get started. Well, I dropped one. A new release slash an upcoming release. So glad that we got this one. If you are well versed in the YA fantasy genre, you would absolutely know what book I'm about to say. It is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This book comes out in March, so it's a little bit of an ambitious pick, but I do really want to read this book when it comes out. I will likely just be buying it on Kindle because I have all the paperbacks of the rest of the books in the Hunger Games series, and so I will likely not be buying a physical copy until the paperback comes out. But for those of you who don't know, Sunrise on the Reaping comes out, I think it's March 18th? Let me check. Yes, it comes out March 18th, and this Hunger Games book is what we've all been dying to hear. It is Haymitch's Hunger Game. His Hunger Games was the 50th Hunger Games and the second quarter quell. Because of that, it's a little bit more special of a games where there are 48 tributes instead of 24. And I'm so excited for this book to come out. I feel like we all know at this point, Suzanne Collins only comes out with a book when she has something to say. And I'm so wildly excited to read this book and have this book on my TBR for this month. Next one. A red cover. Okay, that's definitely not very hard. The only problem I have right now is that all of the red covers I am looking at are like the second or third books in a series. Okay, one second. Okay, so technically it's a white cover, but it's a red spine, so I'm gonna count it. And it is The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. This book is about Lynn, and she is the Emperor's daughter, and his empire is kind of crumbling. There's a revolution coming, and she is a big part of it, I believe, because in this world, daughters are not allowed to be heirs, I believe, and it says the only way to reclaim her birthright and overthrow her despotic father is to master the art of the very bone shard magic that his subjects fear. And as much as I am excited to see just the plot of this book, I'm very intrigued to see what bone shard magic entails and what all that is going to be about, because I feel like it sounds very interesting, and I don't think I've ever heard of any other kind of series that uses bone magic in any way, so I'm very excited. Okay, our third book. A duology. Okay, I have so many options for this actually because I'm in the middle of multiple duologies. I did originally have The Rebel Witch on my February TBR, but it just didn't get done. I'm actually gonna grab it. One second. The Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. This is the second in the Crimson Moth duology. It is a witch hunter romance, and the last book ended in a complete, like, my jaw was on the floor. And I rated that book 5 stars, so I do have very high expectations for this book. I'm a little nervous about that, but I am very excited to see where the story goes. I will likely be buying this on my Kindle because I do not like annotating while I'm reading for the first time. I much prefer to read on my Kindle and highlight on my Kindle, and then depending on how high I rate a book, I will go back in and take those highlights and annotate the book with those. So that's what I will likely do, and I honestly think that is what has kept me from reading this month, because I haven't bought the Kindle version yet. Okay, next one. Oh god, I grabbed like 5. Has a TV or movie adaptation. Okay, that definitely narrows it down a lot. Most of these are fantasy and do not have an adaptation, so I actually think I know what I'm gonna pick. I'm actually really excited. Don't know that I will actually read this. I'm gonna say that ahead of time, because it is not at all my primary genre. It is actually both of my least read genres combined. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. This book is a mixture, from what I have come to understand, of literary fiction and like a mystery. And I saw the movie. This was way before I got back into reading, so I didn't really care about reading the book first, but I love the movie so much. I love Daisy Edgar Jones so much, and I'm very interested to see how the book compares. But this book is about Kaya, and this is also a historical fiction. I believe the story starts in like the early 50s to early 70s, I believe, because it's following a trial of someone that everyone thinks Kaya killed, and I believe we get like her entire backstory, how she grew up, and it seems like a really good book. I mean, obviously I already know what happens, but I'm very excited to see how the book compares. We need 6 more. A book by one of your favorite authors. Wonderful. I think I know what I want to pick. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Don't get me wrong, I have loved every single Ali Hazelwood book I've read, but it is not until recently that I have understood why. And it is because she writes the most superb, supreme, I love them with all my heart, bookish boyfriends. All the books I have read personally, the men in those books, just the way that they understand the FMC, and I honestly don't even know the way to explain it, but it scratches my brain so good. I definitely want to delve deeper into her writing, and I think I only have 2 more books of hers that I haven't read, but I could be wrong. This being one of them. I believe this was her first publication. This book is about Olive and Adam, and she is currently pursuing her PhD, and he is a professor, and it looks like a fake dating scenario. And I loved Love Theoretically, which had aspects of physics in it, and this one has aspects of biology, so I imagine I will find that aspect of the book very interesting. But I'm just very excited to read another Ali Hazelwood book, because I am very quickly discovering that she writes almost perfect fictional men to me. This is Reese. He got surgery last week, didn't you? You broke your tooth and it needed to come out. Okay, next one. A book that matches the season. Now, with March, this could go either way, because March 21st is the spring equinox and the first day of spring, but going into March, we are still in winter. For this one, I'm going to be picking for winter and picking up When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I've heard so many things about this book. It really popped off on TikTok when it was published, I believe a little over a year ago now, and I tried reading it once, but it definitely seems a little high fantasy, so I was definitely intimidated. But this book sounds super confusing on the back, so I'm not even gonna try to describe to you what this book is about, and I'm just gonna read the back. An assassin for the rebellion group Fear d'Oath, Rave's job is to complete orders and never get caught. When a rival bounty hunter turns her world upside down, blood spills, hearts break, and Rave finds herself imprisoned by the Guild of Nobles, a group of powerful fae who turn her into a political statement. Crushed by the loss of his great love, Khan Vagor took the head of a king and donned his melted crown. Now on a tireless quest to quell the never-ebbing ache in his chest, a clue lures him into the capital's high-security prison, where he stumbles upon the imprisoned Rave. Echoes of the past race between them. There's more to their story than meets the eye, but some truths are too poisonous to swallow. It sounds super confusing, I'm not even gonna lie, but it also sounds so good, and I've heard such incredible things about this book that I really would like to give it another chance. Where the is my cup? Here it is. Okay, 4 more. Leave her alone, Reese. A book from the bottom of your shelves. Okay, so that means a romance book, because that's where they are. Honestly, I know what I want to pick, but this book got horrible reviews, so I'm really scared too. I'm gonna pick it anyway. The Striker by Anna Huang. I'm not gonna lie, the main reason I want to read this book is because there is no way I'm not going to be picturing Jamie Tart from Ted Lasso in my head the entire time. This book is about Asher and Scarlett, and Asher is like the top footballer of the Premier League, and something happens where he causes kind of a bit of a scandal, and he has to cross-train with his rival, and the cross-trainer they get is Scarlett, and Scarlett also happens to be his rival's sister. So we've seen this before. It honestly reminds me a lot of the first book in the Dirty Air series, I think is what it's called, by Lauren Asher. It sounds really good, and I'll definitely have to let you guys know, because this one got horrible reviews when it came out. 3 more to go. Okay, yeah, like 5. Enemies to Lovers. A classic. Okay, I don't have it in this room. It's out there, so I'm not going to go grab it right now, but I'm going to be picking Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. I've heard incredible things about this series, especially for its enemies to lovers qualities. From what I have understood, this is an enemies to lovers between Jace and Kazi, who is a former street thief and is sent by the queen to investigate transgressions, and it seems really interesting. I don't know much more than that. The description is a little confusing, but I've heard nothing but good things about this series, so I am excited to get to it. Okay, we have 2 more books, I think. This is a 400-page book, or a 400-page plus book, I should say. Is this over 400 pages? Yes, but not by much. Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. This is the same author as the Atlas 6 trilogy. This book sounds really interesting. It is about Viola and Fox, and Viola, I don't know. And she is a realtor trying to get rid of this house. She's also a vampire, and the house is haunted. So she gets Fox involved because Fox is a medium who is admitted on the back as a fraud, but he is also the godson of Death. And it seems like things get really interesting in how they deal with this house. And it says, with the help of an unruly poltergeist, a demonic personal trainer, a sharp-voiced angel, a love-stricken reaper, and a few mindfulness practicing creatures. So it sounds like it's gonna get really interesting. And I did start the Atlas 6 trilogy years ago, but that was when only 1 book in the series was out, and I didn't want to finish it until all the books in the series were out. They are all out now. Still haven't finished the series, but I do really like how Olivia Blake writes, and I'm very excited to see how this book goes. 1 more to go. A 5-word title. Okay, for this one, we're actually going to be doing a mystery, which normally I would be hesitant about because I don't read a lot of thriller, don't read a lot of mystery. It's my least read genre, absolutely. But I did really like the first book in the series, and I would like to continue it. So, with that being said, I'm going to be picking The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. This is the 2nd book in the Thursday Murder Club series. I loved the first one. I thought it was really interesting. The only thing I didn't love about it was that the ending didn't feel final, and I really don't like when the culprit kind of gets away. But it is about a bunch of people who live in a nursing home who solve a murder. Think Only Murders in the Building, but in a nursing home. And that's what this book is essentially. It looks like they have a visitor arrive. It looks like he's been accused of stealing millions worth of diamonds, and then a body is discovered. It sounds really good. I mean, I'm just excited to continue this series. I really, really loved the first book. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. I will likely be listening to this on audiobook because that's how I read the last book in the series. But yeah, those are the 10 books that are going to be on my TBR for this upcoming month. I really hope this month is a better reading month because last month was just horrible, if we're being frank. And not just with reading, just everything was hectic. Like I said, my dog got surgery. It was not a great month for us. But I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are still here, I appreciate each and every single one of your beautiful faces so much. I hope you all are having an absolutely incredible morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.